Welcome everybody to Roland Cowan Stadium here in Carina as the Brisbane Spartans host the Gladstone Port City Power in the QBL Game of the Week presented to you by Nothing But Net Media. It's a big matchup, this women's matchup, as we see the number 2 on the ladder, Brisbane Spartans hosting the number 5 Port City Power. Gladstone comes in on the back of a big win last week versus Townsville at home. In that game, Tabitha Richardson-Smith absolutely went off, carried her team to the overtime win. It was a 96-84 win in overtime versus Townsville. Richardson-Smith had 42 points, 14 rebounds, and 3 assists. She did get up quite a few shots, 13 of 36 from the field, but the team needed it as Muingara Zubritsky also contributed with 21 points, 6 rebounds, and 2 assists. She was 8 of 10 from the field, 2 of 3 from 3. So Gladstone has a bit of firepower here. They only travel with 8 players tonight, so depth could potentially be an issue for the Gladstone Port City Power tonight versus the Brisbane Spartans. Spartans come into this game absolutely undefeated. They're 4-0. They've had some pretty solid wins, but this is by far going to be their sternest test of the season. Last week, Spartans had the local rivalry win over the Brisbane Capitals, 70-59. I think the score was probably a bit closer than what the game actually was, as Spartans were in control for quite a bit in that one. Aja Parham, led Spartans in that one with 18 points. Nat Taylor also had 18, and Kalani Purcell, who just signed in the WNBL. So she's also had 16 points and 9 rebounds in that win last week versus the Capitals. I'm John Guarna, joined by Regan Baker. Dan George is also going to join us. Regan, this is an exciting women's matchup for the QBL. 2 of the top 5 teams facing off. What are your expectations for tonight's game?
Yeah, I think this is definitely going to be an incredible matchup, probably one of the better ones we've seen so far, John. I mean, we've got a Gladstone team that is very, very different from what we've seen in previous years, but they're still proving to be an absolute powerhouse in this competition. And then you've got the Brisbane Spartans dropping out of the Siebel to come in and join once again into the QBL. And you've got some amazing players. I mean, you've got you've got the likes of Odette Isaac, who's been playing WNBL seasons and that for the last couple of years as well. So you've got some huge names in this Brisbane Spartans team, as well as Natalie Taylor, always an absolute powerhouse in the QBL. Every single year, she just keeps performing and performing. So very, very interesting game, especially with like Kalani Purcell coming back from playing over in New Zealand as well, playing college ball. Just going to be an amazing matchup. I really don't know which way it's going to go. Could go either way. I'm probably predicting that Spartans may just get up, but it would not surprise me if Gladstone takes this one out.
It's going to be a tough challenge for the Spartans to get the win over the Gladstone Power. We see the Purcell sisters, Charmian, now Mellors, is going to face off against Kalani, so should be a great matchup. Dan George gets in the booth. This is your home away from home. You spent quite a bit of time here at Spartan, so how's it feel to be back on the commentary here in Carina?
Well, I apologise for being late. I just got caught talking to a couple of people, but that's because this is a really special place. I obviously, basketball-wise, spent a bit of time here, but personally, when I had some of my challenges, I spent some time here, and they were amazing and very supportive of me, so it's always really nice to come back, and just brings back that memory of being a bit sick, but also the memory of all the amazing support, and I think basketball clubs are really great at doing that and getting behind people, so it's always really nice to come back to Carina and see a few familiar faces, definitely.
Well, I saw you chatting with Spartans assistant coach Rob Scheibner. What did Scheib tell you about tonight's matchup? What inside info did he give you?
Well, we weren't talking too much about tonight's matchup, let's be honest, but what he did say, and I'm very familiar with the offense that they'll be running, and I think it's a great offense, and there's no surprise why they're putting up the numbers they're putting up within that system, and I think it really suits their players, but he couldn't speak highly enough of the team that they've got. He did say they've only had 2 practices together with their full squad with all the girls here. So he says, we're good now, but give us a month and we'll be really, really good. So we'll see what they bring tonight. A couple of good players for Gladstone. I think Gladstone's import, you might have touched on it already. I think she had 35 and 45, something like that in the first 2 games. So the Aja Parham matchup with her will be great to watch. But this Spartans team has their eyes on nothing less than a championship, and that's what they're aiming for.
Yeah, the Spartan, that matchup, we said in the preview, Tabitha Richardson-Smith, she had 42 last week on 13 of 36 shooting, mind you, but still 42 points. Her team got the W. It's obviously something that Gladstone needs from Tabitha Richardson-Smith to get the W. What does Spartans have to do to slow her down tonight?
Well, I think anytime you have a player putting up big numbers, it's never a one-on-one assignment, but if anyone can guard her one-on-one, it's probably Aja. With WNBA experience, you would expect a all-defensive ACC player in her college days. So if there's anyone's going to guard someone one-on-one, it's her. But it's always a team assignment. You've got to have your team defensive rules in place, and you just have to trust each other. And know that within your system offensively you can get it done, but defensively your system has to produce and slow down these star players as well.
Now, I've touched on it with Regan, Dan. I'm going to ask you the same question just after the Australian National Anthem. We'll take a quick break. We'll come back with the commentary shortly. I was just going to ask you just before the break for the anthem there, Dan. Gladstone comes into road trip weekend with only 8 players. You've been traveling around and you've been part of teams that don't travel with a full squad. How does that affect you in the preparation, but also while you're playing the game?
I'm not sure what Regan's take was. I'd be interested to hear. And I don't know if we're, like, my reaction to that is sometimes it's a good thing. I mean, there's nothing worse, from my experience, than getting on a bus in Gladstone, driving to Brisbane as the 9th player and not getting on the court. It's just demoralising. And I think if you've got 8 players, everyone's going to play and everyone's going to have to play decent minutes and play well. And I think sometimes that can bring a group together. But I don't know, I subscribe to the thought that it shouldn't matter if there's 8 people here or the full 10 or the full 12. If they all have a system, they're well coached, 8 players, 10 players, it makes no difference. But anyway, they'll be led by their import, as you would expect. I think Rochelle, the big girl in the middle, looks like she's really athletic for a taller player, so you'd expect her to play well. But everyone else around that, the role players, I guess you'd have to call them, they'll fill their role and play well, whether they're playing 5 minutes or 15 minutes. But sometimes knowing you're going to play minutes helps you. So only having 8 players would not be a concern, I wouldn't think, for Gladstone. Maybe tomorrow in the second half on a back-to-back, it has an impact, but tonight it's not a worry at all.
Yeah, we keep talking about Tabitha Richardson-Smith. She's the leading scorer in the women's competition, 34 points a game, 12 rebounds to go with 3.7 assists. I mentioned her shooting statistics last week, but on the season she's shooting 42% from the field and 38% from 3. So she's doing it in an efficient manner outside of that game last week. But she's not doing it alone. You see Mungara Subritsky, she's got averaging 14 points, shooting 47% from the field. As you mentioned, Cassie Rochelle, a double-double, 11 points and 12 rebounds. So some interesting matchups on the floor here. You look at the Gladstone team, and they certainly have the size advantage over Brisbane. Do you expect them to focus on that inside presence, inside-out ball, like we've seen a few teams so far this season?
Gladstone?
Yes.
Well, I would think they have to. And Cassie Rochelle's got great touch looking at her in warm-up. She's not one of these taller players that maybe struggles with her touch around the rim. She looks really efficient. And they might even post up Richardson-Smith. They might even go to her in the block. And I don't know, I think they'll do different things. But the last thing they want to do is become a jump shooting team, because that then will lead to defensive rebounds, which is a fast break opportunity for the Spartans. And Gladstone cannot run with the Spartans tonight.
Yeah, you look at the depth of the Spartans. They are extremely deep. You mentioned Azure Parham. We got Nat Taylor, Kalani Purcell, who just signed with Townsville in the WNBL. Ashley Karatiana averaging 22 points a game. I mean, they're a team that you don't know who's going to step up. It's going to be a great challenge for Gladstone. It's going to be a great game. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to this matchup tonight. I think it's going to be one of the better games we've had so far in the women's competition in our QBL game of the week.
I agree. And how about the quality of imports as well? We see it in the men's comp all the time with the quality of guys that come out. But Cassie Rochelle comes out of the University of Wisconsin. Like, just well-known programs coming to the QBL. It's just so great for our league. And credit to all the clubs for recruiting and putting the resources in place to make that sort of thing happen.
Yeah, so you see Spartans out on the court. You got Parham. You've got Carly Curry. What else do we have out there? You've got Rebecca Haynes, Kalani Purcell, like we said, and also Ashley Karatiana. And Gladstone's going to come out with Subritsky, Mellors, Rochelle, Kiriau, and Richardson-Smith. So see the early matchup between Purcell and Rochelle is going to be an interesting one tonight.
Well, safe to say Gladstone should get the first possession of the game.
Let's see.
Significant height advantage at the jump circle.
Let's see what
Kalani
happens.
Purcell, by the way, I mean, her sister, Nat, is a superstar, but Kalani Purcell, I think she's at BYU. I think it's her school.
Yes, yep.
Just coming off a fantastic season, and she's a player to watch for sure. We speak about all these other girls on the Spartans roster, but she's one to watch for me, definitely.
I think there's a issue with the clock or something here. Getting ready to set this opening tip here between the Brisbane Spartans and the Gladstone Power. Like I said, guys, top 5 on the ladder. You've got number 2 and number 5. Gladstone's only loss thus far this season was to Mackay, so it's going to be a stern challenge for the Spartans. Tip is up. It's won by the Spartans, though, Dan. They proved you wrong. First bucket of the game goes to Ashley Caratiana. It's 2-0 here for Spartans early. There's that transition you said early, Dan.
Well, I think if the Spartans can get out and run, that's going to spell problems for any team in the league, but Gladstone definitely tonight don't want that. So they need to control the ball, crash the offensive glass, and get to the foul line. That's the quickest way, or the easiest way, to keep the Spartans out of the transition game.
And there's Mellors answering with the jump shot. So good defense by Spartans to keep him out of the paint, force him outside early. Good pump fake, elbow jumper is up, it's off. Tipped around, coming down with it is Curry for Spartans. How's the ball movement so far, Dan? Really nice ball movement from both teams. Curry knocks it out of bounds, so it's going to be Gladstone ball.
Harley Curry doesn't show up on the box score much, but gee, she's active and always has been. And you see it, offensive rebound, and almost got a strip and got it back there as well. Just a kind of quality player that's so supportive of these bigger names on the Spartans roster.
Here's the matchup with Rochelle. That one is going to go on Caratiana, so quick early foul here for Ashley Caratiana. She's the leading scorer for the Spartans, as I said, 22.5 points a game on 50% shooting. Any coach would take that.
Well, it's one thing to be a good scorer and put up numbers, but to do it as efficiently as that is rare. So got to give her a lot of credit.
Richardson-Smith misses it, gets her on rebound, puts it in, plus the foul. Going right at Parham early. Got to like that aggressive play there from Richardson-Smith.
Well, you would expect her to be aggressive like that all night long, and I love the fact she's going to the hoop. I think if you're scoring 35 a game, you've got a jump shot, but it's nice not to settle for it early. Put pressure on the rim, pressure on the defense, and getting to the foul line, make or miss, helps Gladstone's defense set as well, which takes away the Spartans' transition game, which is, I think, really important for Gladstone's chances tonight.
So we're in a tight corner here, guys. So if you're missing some of the action, we're doing the best that we can. Parham's going to pull up for the jumper. That's off. Coming down with it is Kiriau for Gladstone. They're off and running here. Kiriau also can put the ball in the bucket as well. Looking for that high screen and roll. There it is to Rochelle. She's double teamed and turns it over. Good double there, so Spartan's going to key on Rochelle when she gets it in the paint. Curry goes baseline, blocked from behind by Richardson-Smith. Ball's tied up. It's going to be Gladstone ball. It's a good drive there by Curry. Good recovery, though, by Richardson-Smith.
Yeah.
Kiriau gets in the paint, looks inside. Rochelle again double teamed, kicks it out. Three-pointer is up and long. Then the foul is called there on Richardson-Smith, so she's got one here early also. I'm a little confused because in our program, in our box score, we've got number 10 for Gladstone as Subritsky, but I'm sure she's wearing 9. Parham misses the jump shot. Mellors comes down with it. Here's Subritsky driving baseline. Reverse layup swatted there by Haynes. Now Spartans off and running. Pass though stolen by Richardson-Smith, so back and forth we go here. Head of steam, Richardson-Smith lays it up, it's missed. Then a bit of contact there. Mungara Subritsky going to get called for the foul there. It's going to be her first, the second team foul on Gladstone. 4-2 here. Gladstone over Brisbane early. Haynes going to fire the top of the key three. That's nothing but net.
It looked like a hesitant shot too, didn't it, John? I wasn't sure it was what she was thinking when she caught it to shoot it, but fantastic result. Nothing but net, like you said.
Haynes can fill it up quickly, too. She hasn't been scoring too much here on the season. She's only averaging just under 10 points a game. Playing her role. Another three-pointer by the Spartans is missed this time. Richardson-Smith tries to throw it off of Parham. Gladstone recovers, though. Good kick ahead. Rochelle lays it in. That's a tough bucket. She went right through the contact. Got to give a shout out to James Bowman down in Sydney, putting all the graphics together for our stream through Australia Sports Network. Great turnaround jumper there by Purcell.
Yeah, quality move. Didn't look like missing at all.
So 7-6, Lady Spartans take the lead. Richardson-Smith with the deep three, that's off. Haynes comes down with it for Spartans. Good pass inside, Haynes. Great no-look pass. Can't hit, though, for the Spartans. Purcell chases it down and recovers. Great hustle there from Kalani Purcell, and Parham pulls up for the jump shot that's off. Spartans look to be trying to amp the pace up here. They're looking to try and get some quick shots going.
Well, Rob Scheibner, their assistant coach, like you said in the pregame, they're running his stuff in terms of this Dallas set that they do. And, I mean, they're going to have the ultimate green light. Yes, there's a structure, but that just gives you so much freedom to go and play. So if there's a jump shot there to be taken, they're going to take it. And I think that is a style that they play. And given the quality of players they've got, I think it's a style that's going to work really well for them. And, you know, Gladstone can hang with it now. But as that pace picks up during the game by the second quarter, third quarter, you'd expect Gladstone to start to wear down playing this sort of up-tempo game because the Spartans are just so deep.
Would you compare it to a Brisbane Capitals men's style of basketball, would you?
Well, no wonder you.
I'm asking the question.
No wonder you and Shibes don't talk. No, his system, like I don't know, the Capitals system is it's I don't know, it's a designed erratic system. There's not a lot of structure to it. Whereas we haven't seen it so far from these girls, but this Dallas system has got plenty of structure and a lot of different wrinkles out of it. It's more like the old, if I was going to compare it to anybody, it's like the old Melbourne Tigers system that the Gazers used to run, and that there's a system there, but gives a lot of freestyle to their players as well. But you can see here, it goes to the high post, you get two cutters off, ball reversal, down picks on the other side for shooters coming off, cross picks for post-ups. That sort of stuff is part of their flow that they get. The Capitals don't do any of that. They just run to the corner and one or two passes and get to the rim or shoot a three. So it's a different style. Both have proven to be effective, by the way, but
yeah, both teams undefeated. They haven't lost yet either team in the season. Richardson-Smith just picked up her second personal foul. Not a good sign here for Gladstone. Timeout on the floor, so we'll take one as well. 4:22 to go in the first quarter. Spartans lead the Power 7-6 on QBL Basketball, presented to you by Nothing But Net Media and Live Sport Australia. Back with you here at Roland Cowan Stadium. It's a 7-6 lead for the Spartans over the Gladstone Port City Power. Tabitha Richardson-Smith just picked up her second personal foul. So she's going to have to be careful.
Well, she can't come out of the game. She has to stay in, but you're right, she has to be careful. So I don't know who she's going to pick up here defensively, but they've got to go at her.
They're going to go to the zone, you think?
They might have to. They definitely might have to.
Mellor's jump shot is off. Long rebound, Nat Taylor picks it up. Good position inside for Maddie Allen. She puts up the hook shot, it's off. You almost feel like you have to take that shot if you're a big person in position when you catch it that deep.
Well, I think you do have to. Cassie Rochelle is just shooting with two girls draped over her, drawing plenty of attention.
Great no-look pass there. Rochelle fouled, so she's going to go to line for a couple shots. I thought they might have got the travel there. It looked like
they could have.
It looked like she shuffled their feet a bit. Rochelle on the season.
She might have shuffled her feet into a twisted ankle here too. You see her relacing her boots. A little bit ginger to get out of that possession, but looks okay, which is good.
Yeah, on the season, Rochelle shoots just on about 58% from the free throw line, so it's a 50-50 chance. Hits the first, so.
That looked good, that first one.
Yeah, that looked really nice.
Well, in the pregame, just her jump shot at the foul line looked good too, so hopefully that 58% picks up a little bit and she can get that average higher.
So it's 9-7 the lead here for the Spartans over Gladstone.
Jump shot looked nice, John.
Yeah, free throw. She hit them both, so 9-8 the lead now for Spartans over Gladstone with about 3:20 to go. Taylor's going to pull up for three, and that's good as well. Nat Taylor comes off the bench firing. She's got 5. Spartans up 4.
Well, you're talking about, as Gladstone, that's what Gladstone can't afford to do, in my opinion. Quick possessions, and look at the Spartans running it back down their throat.
Great ball movement here. Haynes flips one up and gets it to fall. How about that for the right-handed, underhanded shot?
It's an amazing finish. Could have been an N1 too. This is better from Gladstone. Running some offense, getting the ball through hands.
8 on the shot clock now. Richardson Smith has her pass stolen. Odette Isaac steals it. She's pushing up court here. Good crossover, and that one's stolen. Good hands there by Rochelle. However, Richardson Smith loses it.
Richardson Smith might want to consider looking to pass it and try and go get the ball back. I think she feels like she has to do everything at the moment. Kick it ahead, run some sets, and go get the ball back. But
Mellors has it now on the wing with 10 seconds on the shot clock. Now Richardson Smith in the corner. What's she going to do with it? Gets it over. Mellors long two is good. Charmian Mellors with the bucket, cuts the lead to 4. Going to get Mellors for the foul there as Haynes slipped the screen trying to get a quick cut to the bucket. They gave that one to Rochelle, I should say. Sorry, I didn't see that. Must have been off the ball. So that's the 4th team foul for Gladstone. Parham getting set to inbounds. If you haven't yet, you better check out Dan's Still I Rise podcast with Asia. How do you say her first name? I say Aja. I say Asia. Sorry. Must be the New York accent.
I think that's right. But thanks for the plug, Johnny.
It was a great interview.
She's just an impressive lady. Basketball, her career's been super impressive. But just as a person, just the approach to life amazed me. And she has been through a lot and just one of the most positive people I've met. So great interview.
Check out the iTunes store, or excuse me, iTunes, and make sure you look up the Still I Rise podcast. There's quite a few great, I've enjoyed every single one of them. But Parham was a great one and obviously relevant to the game we've got here.
Yeah.
On the other end, Kiriau hit a long 2, cuts the lead to 2. Gladstone can tie or take the lead. Richardson Smith misses it. Another jump ball. Possession arrow favors the Spartans, so we'll stay with Brisbane. Looking at some of the statistics, been a bit sloppy here in the first half. Brisbane's got 2 turnovers. Gladstone with 5. Parham's going to fire from 3. You leave her open. She could hit it. She hits that one. 17-12 now with 40 seconds to go in the first quarter. Bit of a zone here from the Spartans, forcing Gladstone to the perimeter. There's 8 on the shot clock. Richardson Smith has it. Good no-look pass there to Carline. She misses. Good rebound. That's Purcell with the rebound. She's fouled. I think that's the 15th foul. Yeah, so it should send Purcell to the line for a couple shots. Kalani Purcell on the season, only shooting just under 43% from the free throw line. Young, talented player like that, she starts hitting at that 75% clip. It's going to be another dimension to her game.
Well, that percentage will increase for sure. And it's interesting, Cassia Rochelle, like we said, comes from a big program. I think she's played overseas for a year or two now. Just looking at her social media stuff a minute ago, seems like she's played in Europe, but it's hard for her to crash the offensive boards despite her height advantage. She doesn't know when the shot's going up, and I think that's one of the things that Spartan zone is doing to the Gladstone's offense. They're taking them out of their stuff. No one really knows when the shot's going up, which makes it pretty hard to go and get an offensive board because you're not ready for it. So hopefully they can get some structure into their game and give themselves a chance at some second opportunities.
Richardson Smith missed the 2. She's going to step back into a 3. That's off as well. 5 seconds to go on the clock. There's a foul under the bucket. Let's see who they give this one to. That one's going to go on Charmian Mellors. So
that's 2 more foul shots too, John. So 94 feet away.
Richardson Smith, someone's got to tell her, let's hold for the last shot of the quarter.
No
they
doubt.
could have held for the last one. And not only did she take the first one, she took a second one as well. And then you compound it with the foul here. So thanks, Ross Barton checking in. It's Aja. Thanks, Ross, for that.
Do you delay the first A like you just did?
No.
Aja.
That's how Ross typed it on the chat, so I'm going to go with that.
Right, Aja.
2 for 2 from Maddie Allen, 19-12. Can Gladstone get a shot off here? They're going to have to flip up a wild one.
That's
it's
not bad.
After the buzzer, though, so it's not going to count. And heading into the quarter-time break, Brisbane has the lead 20-12. Dan, quick thoughts in the first quarter of action.
Well, it's not a huge difference in the numbers looking at these team stats. Both teams are playing at a similar level. I think it's just the Spartans were able to capitalise a little bit more towards the end of the quarter than Gladstone did. They had a couple of threes and got to the foul line a couple more times. Take out the last couple of minutes and it's almost an even game. So I think Gladstone, you touched on it as well, John. Gladstone needs to just control the tempo a bit more because if they let the Spartans dictate the pace, I think they're in a bit of trouble. So we'll see what they can do coming out of the quarter-time break. But if they can control the speed of the game and maybe make the Spartans play defense for a little bit longer rather than taking those early shots, that might help them. And I think the best way to take the Spartans out of their transition offense, like with any team, is hit the offensive boards, get yourself second shots, get to the foul line so you've got to stay aggressive going to the rim. That allows your defense to set a little bit. So we'll see what they can do. But in saying that, the Spartans are a quality team and Gladstone are good as well, but you'd have to say on talent, the Spartans are a little bit ahead. So Gladstone's doing well. Hopefully they can stay with it and keep up what they're doing so far, excluding the last minute or two.
Well, it is an 8-point differential heading into the quarter-time break. We'll take a quick one. We'll come back with the second quarter action here on QBL Basketball, presented to you by Nothing But Net Media and Live Sport Australia. Back with you here on QBL Basketball, presented to you by Nothing But Net Media and Live Sport Australia. Taking a look at some of the statistics. Spartans shot 35% from the field. They got to the line 4 times, hit 3 of those. Only turned the ball over 3 times as opposed to Gladstone's 5 turnovers in the quarter. bench, though, doing it for Brisbane, and a lot of that's Nat Taylor. Nat Taylor had 7 points. Excuse me, the bench for Brisbane contributed 7 of the 20 points in that first quarter. Brisbane was led in the scoring by Rebecca Haynes and Nat Taylor, each with 5. So pretty well balanced first quarter scoring there for Brisbane. For Gladstone, leading the way, Richardson Smith only has 2, Rochelle with 4, and Mellors also has 4 as well. So good first quarter action, and Gladstone hits the first bucket of the second, cutting the lead to 6.
And while you're reading those stats, John, Gladstone came out of the quarter-time break, ran a great set, little down pick for Cassie Rochelle. At 6'4", just popped her elbow and knocked down a shot. And we said in the pregame that her stroke looks pretty good, and she showed right there why. So let's see if she can get a few more looks and get herself some easy opportunities, because she's battling a lot of bodies down there in the paint.
Richardson Smith with Allen switched out on her now. She got 8 on the shot clock, tries to go over the top. Ball, though, out of bounds. It's a good idea because Rochelle had the mismatch with Parham in the paint.
Good idea, but very difficult angle to make that pass from.
6 points the lead here for Spartans. Gladstone staying in that man-to-man. Pretty impressive with Richardson Smith on 2 fouls. Nat Taylor fires another 3. Good rebound there by Alicia Carlin. And then great lead pass up ahead to Rochelle, who lays it in. You can't let Rochelle beat you down the court if you're Spartans.
Now, she's a great athlete, John. Like for any taller player, men or women, when you get to the point where you're the biggest, tallest player on the court, to be that agile and that athletic as well is rare. And she's shown great footwork and great athleticism so far.
Baseline jumpers missed. Allen, though, gets the offensive rebound. Rochelle steals it. Here comes Gladstone with the head of steam. Richardson Smith flips it up and in. That was a tough bucket there for Gladstone. Lead cut to 2.
Well, we'll see what the Spartans do this possession. They're going to go to their horn set, the 2 high picks.
Not a lot of action, and then they're going to get a foul call, though. Not sure who they're going to give this one to.
Oh, that's the sort of cheap foul that they just don't need. They're playing really good defense, and I don't know if there was a foul in that, but you just have to show your hands and not give the referee an opportunity to make that call, because they're playing really well, and the last thing they need is girls in foul trouble.
Yeah, it's Mellors with a foul. First team foul of the half. Excuse me, second quarter. Parham's open for 3. She's going to fire it short. Nat Taylor loses it out of bounds. So Spartans not hesitant from 3. That was their 9th attempt. They've only hit 3, so at a 33% clip here in the first half. Curiel going to step into her own 3-pointer that's way off. Now Purcell gets it, and here's where her talent shines. She didn't realize that Mellors was from behind. Tipped it away, but Purcell led the break. It's always good when you can have one of your bigs leading the break, getting the rebound and pushing.
Well, very versatile player, no doubt, John. And her sister is as well. You're talking about an Olympian. I think it was the London game she went to with New Zealand in women's basketball, and has an 8-month-old at home and is back playing at this level already. So pretty awesome effort from her.
Taylor has it now. 4 on the shot clock. Parham flips it up. She's fouled. That's a good aggressive play. The 3-pointer isn't falling, so Parham using the smarts to get in the paint and gets fouled. Going to go for 2 shots to the free throw line.
Well, I think the Spartans going to the rim is never a bad option. And looking at their squad and looking at, we spoke about the depth of the Gladstone squad, looking at that, I think if they can get open threes, if that's your game, you've got to shoot it. But if it's not there, getting to the rim, staying aggressive and getting yourself to the foul line is a great thing to do. And hopefully they do more and more of it, especially someone who's as athletic as Aja is. Or should I say Aja is, with her athleticism.
She's going to go to the free throw line on the season. Parham, who hits the first. She's at, I don't even want to say it, Dan, because of the jinx. I'll just say she's shooting at as high a clip as you possibly can from the charity stripe. She hits them both. Then she's going to get a breather. Curry checks back in, and Parham's going to have a seat on the bench. It's a 4-point lead here for Brisbane. Gladstone chipping away here in the second quarter. Richardson Smith doesn't hesitate to fire the 3. It's off. Tipped around. Brisbane off and running. The captain, Curry. Purcell has it against Rochelle. Squaring them up, going to back down, spins baseline. A lot of contact. Purcell created it. Wow. They're going to get Rochelle for the foul. Purcell's going to go to the line for 2 shots. I hear you wowing. You wow the move or the contact?
I'm just saying wow that whole possession. Like, Kalani Purcell, great player, great move, but I don't know what else Cassie Rochelle can do. Like, Purcell created a lot of the contact, and anyway, it is what it is, but pretty good defense, but slightly better offense on that occasion. Maybe that's what we'll put it down to.
Yeah, that's Rochelle's second, the third team foul for Gladstone here in the second quarter. 1 or 2 for Purcell. Richardson-Smith just trying to get herself going. She's been quiet so far. Good touch pass from Rochelle to Mellors. Can't finish. Good offensive rebound, though, there by Kiriau. I think that they're going to get Rochelle there for an over the back. If so, that's her third personal. It is. Again, just trying to be a bit aggressive. I never like that over the back call. You can't. It's not in. You have to want to go for it. You're going to be boxed out. I mean,
you don't like the fact she goes for that board, or the fact that they call it over the back?
That they call it over the back.
Well, as a player, great move. Great move going to the rim.
Caratiano gets fouled, so she's going to go to the line for a couple shots. But I just think that over the back call, though, is you're rewarding a box out. But if you have someone on your hip, there's really the only thing that you can do is try and jump to grab it, isn't it?
Well, I think as an offensive player in that case, so from Cassie Rochelle's point of view, all you're doing is competing for a rebound, and you're jumping, and the girl in front of you is jumping too, and she's taller than whoever got the rebound because she's the tallest girl out there. You can see her talking to the official now, just asking for some clarity. She didn't go over the back necessarily. She was competing for the ball, going up, trying to grab it. And as a defensive player, of course you're happy when you get a cheap call like that, but I think you expect to box out and you expect yourself to just go get it. And if you don't go get it, that's bad luck. You've got to work harder next time. So I think that's always a no call, unless it's just a blatant push in the back, which it was not on that occasion.
Well, that definitely was a foul there as Kiriau got into the paint. That one went on. That foul was called on Donnelly, I think. Not sure who they gave that one to, actually. Thought they said 13. She's not out there, though. Kiriau misses the first. 7 points lead here for Brisbane. While we're chatting, Spartans increased the lead a bit, hey?
They have, yeah. A couple of good possessions. We saw Purcell get to the foul line. And just like that, it's a 7-point game.
Yeah, Mellors missed the offensive rebound opportunity there. Kiriau missed them both. On the season, Kiriau shooting 64%. And here comes a bit of zone for Gladstone.
Well, they're going to have to sit in the zone for a while, John, just with the foul trouble that arguably their 2 best players are in.
Some great ball movement there from Spartans.
Yeah.
Can't finish, though.
Gladstone just have to rebound out of it, which they do on that occasion. It's the only danger out of this zone.
Tough layup attempt missed there by Richardson-Smith.
Gee.
And then they're going to get her for a personal
crazy.
Foul. That's the 5th team foul, and it's also the 3rd personal there on Tabitha Richardson-Smith. So,
well, there was contact on the defensive board for Richardson-Smith, and they didn't call it. There's contact on the layup, and they called a soft foul. That's frustrating for any team, let alone one on the road and undermanned like the Gladstone Power are tonight.
I don't like that call.
Well, that's what I was trying to say in the most political way possible.
I agree with you. I didn't like that call. I thought it was just a cheap foul. And you look at the foul count; it's 5-1 now. Yeah, I think a bit of contact. You got to let some of it go, don't you?
You do have to.
And especially in a situation like that as well, where there's no real advantage gained. Like you said, it's 5-1. We've stopped the game. We've walked all the way down the other end of the court. I mean, there's no advantage gained in calling something like that. The player could have continued dribbling. So, yeah, it must be very, very frustrating for Gladstone girls, that one.
Well, they trail by 7, 25-18. Our resident referee, Regan Baker, chiming in. Also on the production panel, so double dipping tonight, Regan. Very multi-talented team we put together here at Nothing But Net Media. Nat Taylor hits another jump shot. Lead is now up to 9, 27-18.
If only I could multitask at home as well, it'd make my life so much easier.
No comment. I'm going to let that one hang there, Regan. As Richardson Smith lays it in, you can see she's not losing the aggression even with the 3 personals.
Well, for all the comments we've made about Glasser in the foul trouble and these ticky-tack fouls are getting called for, it's a 7-point game. They're right in it still.
Purcell with a nice swipe there. Nat Taylor recovers it for Spartans. Let's see what Brisbane's got. They've had some success along the baseline against this zone. Good pump fake, Purcell right around the defense. Rochelle got left out to dry. Absolutely no help for Rochelle on that one. Subritsky has it for Gladstone, going one-on-one with Taylor. Haynes switches
That's where
out.
they've got to. We'll come back to it, John, after this possession and talk about. So we'll take 2 fast shots, which gives us a chance to talk about it. You see Cassie Rochelle kind of set the pick and then roll to the post. He's got the mismatch, and she wants the ball, but Gladstone have tried feeding it from the top of the paint a couple of times. Goes out of bounds. They need to kick it back to the wing on the ball side and then feed the post from there. And that's the angle that Rochelle's sealing up at. And you can see her calling. She's telling them pass it back to the wing, but so far they've been unable to. So hopefully they can figure it out because they can get her some touches in the post. There's nothing but positives to come out of it, I would suspect, for Gladstone.
Yeah, timeout on the floor, so we'll take one as well. 29-20 the lead for Spartans over Gladstone here on your QBL Game of the Week, presented to you by Nothing But Net Media and Live Sport Australia. Back with you here at Roland Cowan Stadium in Carina as the Brisbane Spartans lead the Gladstone Port City Power 29-20 with 3:43 to go in the first half. Bit of foul trouble here for Gladstone. They're already in the penalty, and they've got Cassie Rochelle and Tabitha Richardson-Smith both with 3 personal fouls. So good timeout on the floor there from Coach Cooper. What do you think he's telling the troops in that break?
Well, hopefully he's telling them how to get the ball to Cassie Rochelle in the post. And she's shown to be a great passer out of there, so you're not dumping it in to get shots every time for her. You're dumping it in to get looks for these other girls, and that helps open up the whole floor. So I would love for them to run some touches, or run some offenses to get her some more touches. That's the first thing. But defensively, I just need to keep doing what they've been doing the last couple of minutes, but maybe force the Spartans into being more of a jump shooting team. Don't jump at your shot fakes on the perimeter. We're in a zone for a reason. Let them shoot threes, get the defensive rebound, and let's go play offense. But layups and foul shots is what's going to kill Gladstone out of this zone. So they've got to restrict the Spartans getting both of those things.
The Spartans doing a great job getting their feet in the paint. Purcell, though, turns it over. Subritsky with the steal. Great kick ahead to Richardson-Smith, who lays it in. How about the look there from Muangara Subritsky?
It's a great look. And out of this zone, defensive rebounds and turnovers feed their break. And when you get a layup like that, you got a girl averaging 35 a game. Get her a couple of layups, she starts feeling good. Anything can happen.
A great response there by Caratiana off a nice ball movement. Purcell Parham to Caratiana for the bucket. There's Rochelle on the block, kicks it back right out to Richardson-Smith. Layup is off. Coming down with it is Allen. Allen lost it on the way up. Let's see who they give this one to. Could go on Rochelle. If it does, it's going to be her fourth.
Can't go on her.
That one's on Charmian Mellors, and that's going to be her third personal as well. So Gladstone's in a bit of trouble here, Dan. I hate to harp on it, but 3 personal fouls. on Rochelle. Richardson, Smith, and Mellors spells doom for Gladstone here with 2:30 to go in the first half.
Regan, are officials aware of that sort of foul count? Because the last thing anyone here wants is those three girls to sit minutes or be fouled out and Gladstone finish the game with 4 or 5 players. It would be a disaster, and they need to stay on the floor for as long as possible, 40 minutes hopefully.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. And like, as much as possible, referees do try and be aware of how many fouls each player is on. I mean, obviously it is hard when there's that much going on the court to be aware constantly.
Yeah.
But for me personally, especially in the QBL as well, I would always go at halftime and check out who's on what so that I'm aware of where that foul spread is. I mean, like you said, if those 3 girls get fouled out of this game, all of a sudden we've gone from having a potentially great game of basketball to, you know, potentially a pile of rubbish. So, you know, referees do try and keep aware of it, but it is very hard when there's so much going on.
If David Stern was running the QBL, these 3 girls would not pick up another foul the rest of the game, no matter what they did. So hopefully there's a little bit of that in the QBL and these girls can stay on the floor because I'm enjoying watching them all play.
Yeah, definitely so. And I mean, you're better referees too. Like in situations where it is very close between 2 players, they're smart enough to know who's on how many fouls and give it to the player that has less.
Yeah, good action there from both teams. Gladstone trying to crash the offensive glass. Spartans trying to capitalize in transition. Gets knocked out of bounds. 12-point lead. 3-pointer is up and good from Nat Taylor.
It's funny, John, watching Cassie Rochelle's body language. She gets called for a foul earlier, misses a shot, turnover, and everyone's smiling. But she's starting to get a little bit pissed off down there, as she should be. Upset, frustrated at teammates missing assignments, frustrated at the lack of offensive rebounders other than her. So that sort of competitiveness is good. Hopefully she can spark some energy from her teammates.
Let's see, they need it. They're down 15 now. Isaac with the 3, it's off. Rochelle tips it, Curry comes up with it. Hook shot by Allen is good. Spartans have it going on here. They're up 17 with 45 to go in the first.
Oh my God.
And Rochelle gets called for her 4th personal.
Oh my goodness.
Coach Cooper does not like the call.
I don't either.
That's a tough call in that spot.
Yeah, that is tough.
That's a really tough call. Rochelle just going to play through it. Hopefully she doesn't pick up her 5th. She's frustrated. You can see the look on her face. Isaac gets in the paint and flips it in. It's all going down here for the Spartans. They're up 19 with 20 to go. Subritsky drives baseline. She's fouled there by Aja Parham, excuse me. So Subritsky going to go to line for a couple shots. It's only the 3rd team foul on the Spartans with 16 seconds to go in the first half, and you see Rochelle taking a seat on the bench. Thought it was going to be shots. It's not.
I would have thought so too, but
Subritsky has it. There's 7 to go in the first half. A lot of dribble here from Subritsky. Looking to back in on Taylor. Hook shot is off. Allen comes up with it. The clock expires, and we're going to go into the halftime break with Brisbane Spartans up 19, 43-24. It all got, that game just got out of hand there in that last half of the second quarter. Foul trouble, frustrations built for Gladstone. Spartans took advantage of it.
It was a great game for 15 minutes, but the last 4 or 5 just got away, I agree. And just unfortunate that some of Gladstone's top couple of players are hamstrung with foul trouble because they're undermanned as it is, let alone with Cassie Rochelle sitting down with 4 fouls or Richardson Smith going with 3, maybe having to be a bit more careful on defense. So anyway, it is what it is. But in saying that, the Spartans are a very, very good team, and they're showing why so far. They've got quality up and down the roster, and they probably go 8 or 9, maybe 10 deep legitimately from a talent point of view. So I guess we're seeing the tale of 2 sides so far tonight. But credit to the Spartans, they look really good.
Spartans look good. We're going to take a break. We'll come back with some halftime statistics and analysis in about 10 minutes' time. So thanks, everyone, for tuning in. It's halftime here. Spartans are up 19, 43-24 on your QBL Game of the Week, presented to you by Nothing But Net Media and Live Sport Australia. All right, we're back with you here at Roland Cowan Stadium in Carina. It's halftime between the Brisbane Spartans and the Gladstone Port City Power. The women, it's a 19-point lead for Spartans over Gladstone. Taking a look at some of the halftime statistics, leading the way for the Brisbane Spartans. We're looking at points here. Where am I? There we go. In double figures is Nat Taylor. She's got 10. Ashley Caratiana has got 9 for the game. The Spartans shooting 41.7% from the field, 35% from 3, and they're only hitting 57% of their free throw attempts. So luckily they're still up 19 on the glass. They're doing a pretty good job. It's pretty even on the rebound count. 26 for Spartans, 24 for Gladstone. Spartans taking care of the pill. Only 7 turnovers in that first half. Gladstone had 10. Taking a look at the Port City Power, you look at the scoring here, and they're struggling to score the ball. They've only got 24 points at the half. They were outscored in that second quarter, 23-12. So not a great second quarter for Gladstone. Leading the way for them, though, is their import, Tabitha Richardson-Smith. She's got 10 points. Cassie Rochelle's got 8. And then only 2 other players have put some points on the board for Gladstone, and that's Charmian Mellors with 4 and Kayla Kiriau with 2 points. So they're struggling from the field. Gladstone 27.8% from the field. They've yet to hit a 3-pointer tonight, at least on the board. So at the half, both teams not necessarily shooting the ball all that great, but Gladstone really struggling. It's about a minute 20 to go till we get started in the second half, and really it was that second quarter that gave the Spartans that big difference. They outscored Gladstone by 11 in that second quarter to go up by 19, Dan. It was a great second quarter for the Spartans.
Well, offensively and defensively, John, I thought offensively they looked great, but to hold any team to 24 points and a half is an amazing effort. 12 in each quarter, so consistent defensive effort from the Spartans, and like we said, they've got their eyes on nothing less than a championship, and defense is going to win any title in any league in the world, so to be able to keep a team to 12 points a quarter is obviously a great effort. But I guess for Gladstone, it looks like Cassie Rochelle's going to start on the bench with those 4 fouls, which is a shame, but hopefully they can pick up their production in the second half and put on a bit of a show for what looks like a pretty good crowd gathering tonight.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what they do with Rochelle. You see her with her warm-up top on, so it doesn't look like she'll come out with those 4 personal fouls. That's a huge loss, though, for Gladstone. It's probably going to change the way they play the game. It's going to put even more of the scoring burden on the shoulders of Tabitha Richardson-Smith.
Well, you've almost just got to go 5 out and a lot of handoffs, a lot of on balls, and try and open the floor up for Smith to go at the rim. But in saying that, I'd almost just put Rochelle out there, and I'm not sure. It's her on the bench, her on the court. I don't know. Either way, they're in a bit of trouble, so I'd just let her play and trust that she's smart enough to manage her fouls for as long as possible. But anyway, we'll see what happens.
Alicia Carlin is going to get the assignment to start the second half, and we see Rochelle on the bench sitting next to Coach Ray Cooper. So Coach Cooper going to keep Rochelle on the bench with those 3 personal fouls, and 4 personal fouls. So I wouldn't necessarily disagree with that call there. It's going to be tough. They're going to need her. It's a 19-point lead, though, Dan, but still so much time. There's the entire second half to play. Pull-up jumper is no good, but picking up the foul there is Subritsky as Ashley Caratiana just drove past her with a quick rip and go.
Well, Gladstone have to find a way to stop fouling, don't they? And that's easy to say when you have players with the quality that the Spartans have got, but I don't know if they let fouls accumulate like they did in the first half and the Spartans just walk to the foul line all night. It's just going to be a long second half for everybody who's a Gladstone fan. They've got to try and play defense without fouling, otherwise they're in a bit of trouble.
Well, the way that the referees have been calling it quite tight also, so it's going to be it's definitely going to be a challenge for Gladstone. Caratiana hit them both, so it's now a 21-point lead for Brisbane. There's Carline. Pass tipped out of bounds, though. Off the hands of Caratiana. There's 10 seconds to go on the shot clock. Got to give a shout out to Coach Van Dongen of the USC Rip also. He's tuning in. Congratulations on picking up the win last night. I saw your post. It doesn't seem to be the prettiest to win, but a win's a win. Good baseline drive. Can't finish, though. QBL misses the layup. Now Purcell looking to push.
And how about the USC Rip last night? Men and women on the road. So great night for their program.
Yeah, men still undefeated at the top of the table. Haynes now gets called or gets fouled on her way to the bucket. That one's going to go on Alicia Carline. That's going to be Carline's fourth personal as well. I think Coach Cooper, the pace that we're going here with the foul calls against Gladstone, Coach Cooper might have to suit up at some point tonight. What happens in that case? I mean, you only have 3 bench players. If people foul out, what do? Do you play with 4?
Yeah, absolutely. In terms of a game like this, at a professional level, you keep playing until there's only one person left on the court. As long as you've still got someone to pass the ball to, you continue playing the game of basketball.
How do you inbound it, Regan?
Well, that's what I mean. So with 2 players, you can still continue playing because someone's passing the ball out of bounds, 1 player on the court. As soon as you only got 1 player left, that's when it's game over.
Well, the way that it's going, we might see Gladstone playing supremely underhanded.
Well,
undermanned, I should say. Sorry.
The officials need to swallow the whistle. I know they call it like they sit on each possession, but just be mindful of the fact that no one wants to see a 5-on-4 or a 5-on-3 game.
Yeah,
and we're in real danger of seeing it.
We are. Carline, though, gets the nice spin move there in the bucket. So let's see what happens here. Good cut by Parham and a nice pass by Haynes. Parham finishes. Nearly doubled up score. Richardson Smith, top of the key, 3 is off. It's just too quick. I know you're down by buckets, but you'd love to see a bit of ball movement instead of just a pull-up 3, wouldn't you?
Well, you can get that contested 3 at any stage in the offense that you want, so I agree. There's no point, as the Spartans run their offense really well, there's no point playing defense for 15 seconds and then playing offense for 5. That's just a recipe for disaster.
Subritsky going to the bucket. It's stripped off the hands of Kalani Purcell, so it's going to stay here with Gladstone.
Gladstone just have no idea what they're running at the moment. And that might be the result of some girls on the court that aren't used to playing too many minutes. But
yeah, they don't look very organized at the moment, do they? And it is that adjustment. Rochelle plays a lot of minutes. We saw them really focus on her and Richardson Smith without her on the court. They're not going to play, or they haven't played through Carline just yet. Richardson Smith comes up with the steal. Carline gets it deep in the paint. Skips it over. Meller's 3-pointer is short. Taylor saves it. And then Mellors gets called for the foul.
That's her 4th as well, I think.
That's definitely her 4th. So you've got 3 of the Gladstone Port City Power players with 4 personal fouls. They only have 3 players on the bench.
And there's a lot of time left too.
There is.
7 minutes in the 3rd quarter.
Deep 3 from Nat Taylor. She swishes another one. 54-26 the lead now. Nat Taylor is absolutely on fire tonight. Three-pointer in the corner is off by Mellors. Offensive rebound and putback, though, is missed. And here comes Brisbane again. Purcell flips it up. It's off. Nat Taylor doing a bit of everything here. Good touch pass inside. Purcell's layup, though, is missed. Nat Taylor on the night. He's got 13 to lead all scorers. Here comes that high screen and roll. Richardson Smith goes away from it. Can't get the 3 to fall. Gladstone doubling up too this weekend. They've got the game tonight versus Spartans, and then they play tomorrow at Auchenflower against the Capitals. So it's going to be a tough doubleheader, and that was a tough bucket there by Richardson Smith.
Really nice finish in that possession. And the women's Gladstone game tomorrow will be a good one. That's a very winnable game for Gladstone. I think they've shown enough tonight to show that they're able to go and get that W as Arja hits a 3. And if I think Rochelle can stay out of foul trouble tomorrow, her matchup with, that's a deep 3 too. Her matchup with Ariel Butts from Brisbane and a couple of other Brisbane girls is going to be a really great one to watch. So get down to Auchenflower and check that game out if you're in Brizzy.
Parham's got it in the corner. Trying to find the cutting Caratiana. She gets to the paint, misses the layup though. I don't want to harp on it, but I am going to say Gladstone's body language is not very positive at the moment. They're definitely frustrated with the way the game's gone and the way it's been refereed as Subritsky powers her way to the bucket. But you gotta keep your head in the game.
Well, I agree. You're 100% right, but it's hard to do for another 3. That doesn't help your body language when the Spartans rain down 3s, but for a young team that is on the road, that's losing, that they know they're going to lose, they get some foul calls, their best players are all in foul trouble. Like, it's easy to drop your head, but hopefully coach can come up with some positive words here. But I'd get Cass Rochelle back in the game. You're more than likely not going to win. I'll just get her out there, stay in a zone, trust her to just give up some laps if it means just stay on the floor, but I think get her minutes and try and get some, I don't know, production out of her and get some momentum going into tomorrow maybe, because you're right, it's not a great feeling for them, and you don't want to take this sort of feeling and take a 30 or 40 point loss into another game tomorrow afternoon.
Yeah, well, the championship quarter has been all Spartans. They're leading in the third quarter 13-4 by 9 points. They've pushed the lead out to 29 points. And credit to the Spartans too, though. They're just playing their game. They're not taking the foot off the pedal just yet either. They're firing on all cylinders at the moment.
Yeah, and I don't think you do take your foot off the pedal. They'll probably go deeper into their bench as this game goes on and the lead continues to be at the 30-plus point mark. So a lot of the younger girls like a McDowell White might get some minutes tonight, which will be great for all of them. But I think you still play the style of game that you want to play. So anyway, we'll see what happens from their point of view. But again, Gladstone have some adjustments to make. Not so much because they're going to win tonight, because that's unlikely, but just the style of play they want to play, the kind of shots they want to try and get. And again, I'd just get Rochelle back in the game. But see them coming out of this time out with both imports on the bench. So I don't know where they're going to get points from, John, to end this quarter.
Well, someone's going to have to step up. Checking in for Gladstone was Ashley Frampton. So they've got Subritsky, Frampton, Carline, Curiel, and Mellors out on the court. A bit of zone here from Spartans. Subritsky trying to drive baseline. It's not there. Curiel had the 3, instead settles for the floater and puts it in.
Well, that's in my face. That's really nice offense. Moved the ball, ran the shot clock down and got a great look. So more of that for Gladstone for sure.
Yeah, probably goes to show you why I'm not a basketball player. I would have fired that 3 if I was Curiel.
If you would have made it. That's a difference.
That's highly questionable, Dan. Also highly unlikely. Allen's shot blocked there by Carline. She gets it back. There's 2 on the shot clock. They got to get a shot off here. 3-pointer by Preston. Excuse me, jumper was off by Preston.
I think Preston's just signed to the Division II school. Had a few D1s looking at her and talking to her and chose a Division II college, so she'll be off at the end of August. So another good success story to come out of an Australian junior heading overseas to experience college life in the States.
It's just, and I've had this conversation with you and with Dave Derwin a million times over. For me, if the opportunity is there to go to college on a scholarship, play basketball, and get an education, I don't see why anyone would turn it down.
There's not a single reason you'd say no.
I understand that there are certain people who maybe won't do as well or don't want to go away, and that's fine, and I respect that. But if the opportunity is there, I think you cheat yourself if you at least don't give it a chance.
I agree with you.
So congratulations there to Emily Preston going overseas. And the thing is the QBL is going to be here when you come back. These opportunities to play basketball in the QBL are going to be here. If you go to college and you play ball, the opportunity is still going to be there for you when you come back.
Well, I think I was away from Brisbane for 10 years between college and then different cities, living and playing. And I think when I walk back into Carina, it's the same familiar faces. You walk back into Auchenflower, you know, you see Mick Tarrant doing what he does out there, and you're right, this system will always be here, and I just reckon from a life, forget basketball, just from a life experience and growth point of view, it's worth going. And I've got some friends down south who've gone for 1 year, not liked it, but done a freshman year and come back. That's okay, they've had the experience. And
that's it.
that's the worst thing that comes out of it. It's worth having a crack if you're able to get it done, because obviously it's still not super easy to get a scholarship.
And it's that life experience. It's not the basketball. It's not necessarily the college. It's that life experience of being away from home and being on your own in a new place, in a new country, and having the challenge of trying to balance education and basketball, because you know it yourself. It's tough to balance that as well, isn't it? The requirements that you have for school on top of all the basketball requirements you have. Pass stolen there by Frampton. And they're going to get the foul called there. I'm not sure if they're going to give that one to Preston or Curry. Looks like that one is going to go on Emily Preston. Just over 2 minutes to go. It's a 27-point lead for Brisbane over Gladstone, 59-32. It's a really good opportunity for Spartans to play and go deeper in their bench. Great skip pass there. Curiao jump shot, it rattles home. But just this experience playing, and these are meaningful minutes because the game on the scoreboard probably over, but there's still a lot of time. Time's still in the favor of Gladstone maybe making a run here. So good, valuable minutes for some of the young players on the Spartans. That one's on Alicia Carline. That's her 5th personal, so we've got the first player fouled out tonight with 1:30 to go in the third. Coach Cooper going to insert Sarah Pickering into the frame, so we haven't seen Rochelle yet. And Richardson Smith hasn't come off the bench yet either. Maybe Coach Cooper looking to save her for tomorrow's game, maybe?
Well, I was about to say, at what stage do you just say, man, unless someone fouls out, you've got to go back on, just ice it. Put your knees on ice and rest up and try and get a win tomorrow and say, well, we're going to lose tonight. I know the players won't like that from their shooting percentages and scoring averages point of view. It's never good, but I don't know, maybe you say stuff it, just rest up and let's just get the win tomorrow and try and split a road trip, which is a great result for most teams. And I reckon Gladstone and Coach Cooper, if you had said we're a chance to split, they would have taken that. So maybe we don't see them again.
You'd always love to see if you're going on the road trip, you always want to win that first one, though, don't you? It just gives you a bit more spark going into that second one.
Yeah, it sure does.
But a game like this, there's still a lot to work on. It is a road trip, 2 road games. Tough competition against the Spartans. Just a good experience overall. Pickering's layup attempt is off. Good offensive rebound by Curiao. We've seen her in there a few times, grabbing a few O-boards. She's probably one of the shortest ones, if not the shortest player on the court, but she's battling inside. You got to love that out of your point guard.
No doubt. Plays really hard.
Let's see if we can find
Tenacious.
some offensive rebound numbers for Curiao. Yeah, it was our 3rd offensive rebound. That's pretty good out of the PG spot. Corner 3 for Subritsky is good, and a nice dish there by Curiao. So making stuff happen is the Gladstone point guard. Curiao got called for a blocking foul there. That's Gladstone in the penalty, so Curry going to go to the line for 2 shots. Curry hits the first. Misses the second, though, does Curry. Ball goes out of bounds off of Gladstone. 62-37 the lead here for Spartans. About 29 seconds to go in the third quarter. Allen, good look inside for Preston. Caught Gladstone sleeping. Mellors flips it up. That's off. Pickering with the rebound, and she's fouled. I think teams don't do it often enough, but we saw Curiao set the screen. I like a guard-to-guard screen. I think it just creates a different look because a lot of guards don't expect to have to switch out at the top there.
Yeah, no doubt.
And that it did create the lane there for Mellors, and Pickering did her job as the big on the floor, just crashing the glass when the shot goes up. Six seconds to go. Haynes goes inside. Allen, tough catch and shoot. It missed. Curry follows it and banks it home to end the third quarter. 66-38 the lead, Dan. Third quarter was all Spartans again. Give us your quick thoughts, and then we'll take a quick break.
I think Carly Curry offensive rebounded that with her face. I think she wore a face plant and got it back up to finish it before the buzzer. So anyway, I'm not sure what else to add, John, other than what we've already discussed. It's a tough one to analyse. I mean, Gladstone, to their credit, are competing. And they're a little bit undermanned. The Spartans are a quality outfit. They've got the two best players in foul trouble on the bench, but they're playing as hard as they can. But I don't know, to look at the Spartans outfit, I think that they're showing why they're a quality team. They go at least 8 players deep, and we've seen a couple of the other younger girls come on, and I mean, they've got 10 great players over there. So we can see why they're doing so well this season, as McDowell White looks like she's about to check in. But we see why they're being spoken about, along with a couple of these northern teams, as real contenders this year.
All right, well, I definitely agree with you, and I'm looking forward to seeing some of the young Spartans talent check in this fourth quarter. It is the quarter-time break. Brisbane's up 66-38. You're watching QBL basketball presented to you by Nothing But Net Media and Live Sport Australia. All right, back with you here for the fourth quarter action. Brisbane Spartans lead Gladstone Power 66-38, heading into the final stretch here. Spartans going to go to their bench. You mentioned before the break, Jessica McDowell-White going to check in. You played with her brothers here at Spartans, didn't you, a bit? William McDowell-White and Daryl McDowell-White. She's another one of the talented McDowell-White family in hoops.
I played with her brothers, and then I coached Daryl for a year as well. And just an unbelievably talented family.
Jess herself has won the Nationals representing Queensland. She's represented Queensland as well. And she's holding her own here in the QBL, which it doesn't surprise me in the least.
No, it doesn't surprise me either. I think one of their younger brothers, Kobe maybe, I think he's almost ranked the best grade 7 under 14 player in the state almost. So the talent, I mean, Daryl and Will everyone knows about, especially Will, but the talent just keeps coming down the line for the McDowell-White family.
Yeah, Mellors hits a 3, so trading buckets here early. And I saw Jessica's mom, Bianca, before the game. She was hoping Jessica would get some minutes, and looks like Jess will see some extended minutes. Although she gets her pocket picked like that one, I don't know if the coaching staff will keep her on the court. Just a young mistake there from Jess. She'll learn. Caratiana hits a 3. Buckets galore for Caratiana tonight. That's her 21st point of the night. Good ball movement here. Frampton has it. Goes into the paint on Mellors against Taylor. Good defense there, forcing the shot clock violation. Kiriau could not get the shot off in time. 71-43 the lead here for Spartans. Nat Taylor, top of the key, 3 is short. Tipped around, and Cartiana comes up with a great look inside.
Amazing pass, too.
Great pass inside to Nat Taylor. That's not an easy catch either through the traffic.
No, amazing pass, great catch and great finish. Just two quality players linking up. As we see, both imports for Gladstone ready to check back in, so hopefully they can probably not come back for a win, but they can get some rhythm and put up some numbers and get themselves going heading into a double header tomorrow afternoon.
Yeah, they both have 4 personal fouls, so Richardson Smith, actually, sorry, she only has 3 personals, so, but Rochelle comes in with 4. Parham going to check back in. And she checked in for Jess Taylor. And also checking in for Spartans, Cassandra Donnelly. Purcell also back in. And Sabritsky going to battle for the board there. That foul's going to go on. Didn't see who that one went on. Did you see?
I did not see, no. Hard to tell.
Good corner 3 attempt by Mellors is off. Richardson Smith, though, offensive rebound. She goes back up with it and banks it home. Parham flips it up and in, plus the foul.
Oh,
Aja
no,
Parham.
come on, dude. I know we're impartial commentators here, but it's just...
Kayla Kiriau gets called for the tee, so that's her 4th personal. So Charmian Mellors has 4. Kayla Kiriau has 4. Rochelle has 4. Alicia Carline has fouled out already, so Parham hit the one for the foul, and then hits the other one for the technical, and Spartans maintain possession due to the technical foul. So they're up 32 here, 7:19 to go. Here comes a horn set from Brisbane. Bad pass there, saved from going out of bounds by Gladstone. Tough pass there by Subritsky, stolen by Parham. Great look inside, and a nice finish there by Cassandra Donnelly. Nat Taylor had the few pump fakes there and then just found Donnelly wide open. Good step through there by Rochelle down at the other end. It's a shame that she's been in foul trouble because she's been really impressive when she's on the court.
Absolutely, shown the ability to pass the ball, can score, nice mid-range jump shot. It's a shame we haven't seen more minutes out of her, but I don't know, hopefully we get to call another couple of Gladstone games this season, and she'll get better and better as the year goes on as well, and she gets used to the league, and we'll see her finish here maybe on not wanting to pick up a 5th foul on a charge, just best to give it up potentially.
Yeah, it's a tough pass though, kicking it ahead from Kiriau, kicking ahead to Rochelle to get her to push up the court. Here's a nice set leading to a Richardson Smith 3. That's a nice skip pass off the screen from Rochelle to free up Tabitha Richardson Smith.
Well, Gladstone have had a couple of really nice sets tonight. We saw it out of the quarter-time break. We see another one there, so they've got the potential to play a really good brand of basketball. So hopefully they can stay out of foul trouble tomorrow afternoon and play really well and give themselves a chance to compete.
Purcell had it stripped out of bounds. It went off of the Gladstone player. That was Richardson Smith with the strip. Parham's going to fire the wing three. That's good. Aja Parham increased the lead to 32. She's been really impressive, too. It's one of the first times I've seen her play in person.
Well, I said hello to her at half-time, and she's been sick as a dog all week. Said she could hardly breathe. So, impressive performance considering how she's been under the weather.
82-53 the lead now. Three-point attempt is off. Knocked out of bounds off of Purcell. It's going to stay with Gladstone.
Oh, no.
And there's the offensive foul called there on Richardson Smith. Ashley Caratiana stepped up to take the charge. Richardson Smith just picked up a fourth personal. 3-team foul here for Gladstone. There's 3 minutes to go in the game. Excuse me, 5 minutes to go. What am I talking about? Had a three-point attempt in my head. I'm getting my clock and my score mixed up here. Kayla Kiriou just picked up her fifth, so she's done for the night. So Gladstone at the moment with one player left on the bench. Frampton going to check back in for Gladstone. Parham has it stripped, knocked out of bounds by Richardson Smith. So 4 seconds to go on the shot clock for Brisbane. See what they can run at. And these are the kind of things that when you're up big, it's good to have these opportunities. You get to work on your baseline out of bounds. You're in a game situation. It's one thing to run it in practice.
Well, you got to stay sharp too. Doesn't matter how much you're up by. And if you've got your starters on, or if you've got, an inexperienced young rookie on who doesn't get to play much, those things don't matter. Out of bounds, set plays, they should be run really, really well. And if you're serious about competing, they need to be run well. So hopefully Brisbane can finish strongly tonight.
Was it weird for you coming in here and coming up to the announcing booth, Dan, or were you heading straight for the locker room just off of instinct?
No, I was coming up here. I'm more than happy not to be suited up.
We know there's a few QBL teams who could use a bit of size. Has anyone talked to you about suiting up? We know you keep fresh on the GBL on a Wednesday night. Is that where you're at? You're content just suiting up on a Wednesday night at an Auckland Flower? Or you ever you getting the itch?
Well, I think everyone's got an itch, and as I did Kalani Purcell, looked like I did Andrews from back here. Earned a couple of foul shots for herself. I don't know, I can go on a Wednesday night and play really well against QBL players, and so I'm comfortable that I could play. And I was recruited by the USC RIP especially this year to go and play QBL, and I was very, very, very close, having spoken to Coach Arasi and Izzy Twitter and those guys a number of times. I was super close to playing, but I just think, and I knew I was going to be walking into a really good team, which is why it was so tempting, looking at what they've done and just knowing how they were going to approach the year. But in saying that, I've obviously got a business and kids, and it's just a time factor, and it would also take away from my high-profile media role of nothing but net media. So I had to weigh it all up, and I said the announcing booth is where I belong at this stage in life, and I'm more than happy to be here.
Yeah, well, we're very lucky to have you, Dan. The insight you provide each and every week is it's fantastic, and I certainly appreciate you coming out. You've been really dedicated to us, and I think it's taken our coverage to another level. So thank you for your contribution.
Thank you.
Even though I know it's the big money I'm paying you that gets you here every week.
Well, that is it.
86-55 the lead, 3:30 to go in the game. Don't forget, guys, we will have the men's matchup for you as the Gladstone Port City Power take on the Brisbane Spartans. Both teams really looking for a win and needing a win, coming in off a couple of losses as well. So that'll be another good game and a tough matchup as well. Both teams match up pretty well, I think. Very similar to what we expected in this one. But Brisbane in this women's matchup really just got the ball rolling. I think, and I hate to harp on it, and I'm not saying this to beat up the referees, but the foul trouble really threw Gladstone off, and once that foul trouble really started to build up, you can kind of feel them get deflated, and the game, I thought, even though they're competing still, I thought it was over at that point in the game.
I agree.
Looking back on it now.
I agree 100%, and I think week in, week out, the officials in our league do an outstanding job, and I think they're really, really good. So we're always reluctant to be critical at any point because they do a fantastic job every single week that we've seen, but I do feel like in this particular game, they might have taken away some of the flow that was looking like a really good brand of basketball and led to a contest that wasn't that competitive, which is unfortunate for Gladstone because they probably deserved a bit better than what the final score is going to show.
And I want to give Curry a bit of credit there. Carly Curry, the captain of the Spartans. Her team's up 29, under 3 to go, and she's D'ing up like they just tipped. Like that's the kind of leadership you want from a captain.
No doubt, and she's got herself in great shape as well. Looks as fit as I've seen her look in ages, but I don't know how many games, if you split across QBL and Siebel and all the leagues, she would be a 300-game player for the Spartans. So she's seen everything, won titles, been on bad teams, seen it all. So she knows what it takes to win, and she's showing the leadership to do it tonight. So for her sake, hopefully there's another really good, strong end to the season coming, and they can compete for another championship.
Great block on both ends. Allen down at this end for Spartans, and then Subritsky down at the other end. Then they're going to get, I thought they were going to get Allen for the offensive foul, swinging the elbow. Spartans going to go to the bench. Checking back in is Emily Preston, Jessica McDowell-White, and also Jamison McMullen going to check in for Spartans. So checking out, you got Purcell, Rebecca Haynes, and then Carly Curry. So just a great overall night for the Spartans. Really impressed with them. I know you've been talking them up as a championship contender. This is the first time we're seeing them on NBN this season. Dan, all those thoughts, have they confirmed your thoughts that they are a legitimate championship contender in the QBL in 2017?
Yeah, they have, and I think they can play a lot better than what they played tonight as well, which is the main thing. They've got a lot of improvement left in them. So, yeah, I agree. They are going to be one of the main teams to beat. And now that Arj has checked out of the game, probably for good, we can say she's 4 of 4 from the foul line tonight. That makes 23 of 23 on the season, John.
Fantastic shooting. Yeah, really good. And great fast break offense run there by the bench players. Good defense there by McDowell-White, too. Jamison McMullen was with the Pirates last year, so she has a bit of QBL experience, but still a quite young, talented player. Jump shot there by McDowell-White's good. Spartans have a slim chance at cracking triple digits here if they could get off 8 points in the next minute 20. Definitely not going to help my my doubles tickets, though, Dan.
I know. Well, for those at home, the Spartans, one of their fundraisers, selling doubles every week. So basically, you buy a ticket to enter into the draw, add the 2 team scores together into the game, and whatever that total is whoever wins the prize. So, 92 plus 57, whoever gets that total, they win the money. I think, John, you're sitting on 349, so we need Gladstone to explode for about 100 points in the last minute here for you to be a chance, which may not happen.
I'm happy to make my $2 contribution. McDowell-White steps into a 3 that's long. Mellors kicks ahead. Richardson-Smith misses the floater.
She's had a rough night, John, I was going to say. I know she's had foul trouble and things to deal with and a very good Spartans defense to go against, but just missed a few layups and shots that you'd probably expect her to make. So it's rare that a shooter has a bad game 2 days in a row, so the Capitals better be tuned in tomorrow and make sure she doesn't get off and bring her averages back up as Odette Andrew knocks down a 3. She's a great player too, Odette, coming back from a bit of basketball maternity leave, had a baby recently, so congratulations to her, but really, really good player.
Again, you look at the depth of Brisbane. We saw Mackay last week, and they were quite deep as well. When you see the two in person, how do you compare them both, Dan?
It's really tough. I don't know how to break it up. I think the Nadine Payne really post-up double, the Twin Towers inside is going to be very difficult for anybody to guard. But I think the Spartans' backcourt with Arja and Nat Taylor and these girls is probably a little bit stronger as well. So that's just going to be a great, whenever they play, it's going to be a great matchup.
I think it's next weekend. I think Brisbane does the Rockhampton-Mackay double dip next weekend. I'll have to double check that, but it is a final here. 95-57 the final score, Dan. We talked about it enough, but just give us your quick thoughts on the game there. It was a bit unfortunate with the foul trouble from Gladstone, but credit to Spartans. They didn't let it affect their game. They just absolutely ran over Gladstone.
I think you summed it up perfectly. Quality from Brisbane, Gladstone, just ride it off, go get a rest, have a good meal, and come back and try and split the road trip tomorrow.
Yeah, take a look at some of the game statistics here for the teams, and you see Brisbane shot 44% from the field, 41% from three. They got to the free throw line 26 times, no doubt to a lot of all those fouls called against Gladstone. Gladstone only got to the free throw line 11 times. You think Rochelle being off the bench would open up the offensive rebounding opportunities for Brisbane, but the rebounding statistics pretty similar, 52-45. Brisbane won that one. The telling turnover stat, and Gladstone was in trouble a bit in that first half, but it evened up a bit. They took care of the ball a bit better in the second half. 18-15 was the final tally, but points in the paint, Brisbane won that 32-28. Second chance opportunities, again, Brisbane scored 17-9 for Gladstone. And then points off turnovers, Brisbane capitalized, and the bench was the difference as well. 36 bench points for Brisbane. Most of those came from Nat Taylor, only 3 for Gladstone. So
yeah,
pretty tough night for the Gladstone Port City Power and the women, but I'll wrap things up, and we'll come back with the men's game shortly. Got to thank Chris Eber on the camera, Regan Baker on the production panel, Dan George on the commentary, James Bowman for his graphics work through Australia Sports Network. And thank you from me to everyone who tuned into that game. 95-57, the final score here. Your QBL Game of the Week presented to you by Nothing But Net Media and Live Sport Australia.